It's not just South African government officials, but also the media that live in a fantasy world. The latest is a story from Bloomberg describing the role of Rolf Mayer going to Washington and improving relations with the Trump administration. Meyer told Bloomberg that persuading Donald Trump to revoke an executive order that underpins Washington's hostile stance towards Pretoria will be his top priority. Number one, it's not the role of a foreign power to interfere in our politics and try to get a president to revoke an executive order. So that's a problem. Number two, Washington doesn't have a hostile stance towards Pretoria. It's quite the opposite. Pretoria has had a hostile stance towards the United States and its friends and allies for well over 2 decades. So Bloomberg got this wrong. And if Rolf Mayer thinks that the United States is being hostile towards South Africa, he has got it wrong. Trump signed the executive order in February 2025, suspending U.S. assistance to South Africa and offering Afrikaners refugee status after falsely accusing Pretoria of subjecting white farmers to a genocide and seizing their land. Okay, the U.S. did suspend assistance to South Africa, but that's not a hostile act. We suspend assistance to many countries, not a hostile act. You're not entitled to our money. And offering Afrikaners refugee status, that is a partial truth. Afrikaners and racial minorities. And falsely accusing Pretoria of subjecting white farmers of genocide. That's not what he said in the executive order. And that's not what he said when he announced the executive order. So this is another lie by a leftist media outlet. Meyer said the starting point for improving relationships is getting the executive order lifted. Well, that's not going to happen until 4 preconditions are addressed. It's very easy to disavow the racist kill the Boer chant, but they refuse to do it. And that has nothing to do with the U.S. revoking executive order. That has to do with South Africa being responsible for its actions. The executive order is not the reason for tariffs. Tariffs are because of South Africa's atrocious behavior towards the United States when it comes to trade. And as we just saw, South Africa, which fails to adhere to international norms, preventing human trafficking and labor exploitation, is now hit 12.5% tariff. Nothing to do with refugee program, nothing to do with HIV money being cut off. So this is the problem. People like Rolf Mayer telling the media that they're going to the U.S. interfere in our politics and undermine our presidency is not particularly helpful at a time when South Africa needs friends in Washington, not enemies. Rolf Mayer will not make friends by being condescending towards American political figures or the Trump administration. This will not go very well for them. As I said previously, a lot of people assume that they'll get support just because. For instance, South African government officials went, along with COSATU, to speak to U.S. government officials about things in South Africa. And the officials I want to speak to are the Black Congressional Caucus. Well, the Black Congressional Caucus was angry with South Africa for its failure to protect labor. The assumption that fellow travelers will support you when you want their support is an invalid assumption.